Where has all the housing gone? You know, if you follow some of our blogs, you know, we talk about it. Housing is a basic human necessity. I'm not, you know, and housing for me, apartment, a house, rental, you're owning, it doesn't make a difference. You need a place to live. Affordable housing is considered less than 1/3 of your wage. 1/3 of your wage. Why do they figure that? Those are the experts. You need enough money for health care, education, food. You need other money, so you shouldn't spend more than 1/3 of your income on a house. But a lot of people are spending over half, and they can't do it. I'm listening to communities that cannot get workers to come into their communities for jobs with very decent wages. I was with the cherry farmers down, you know, downstate, who are paying $20, $25 an hour, and they can't get people because they have no place to house them. We got a housing problem, folks, and we need to end up addressing it. So here's the way I take it. Housing is not free. What happened to us? What happened to the housing? I say the same thing. What happened to education? So let's go over some of the facts. It's my mom. Oh, sorry, Mom. My mom's calling from heaven, though, folks. I made that up. Okay, I'm off. What happened to the housing? Well, let's address it. You know, did we have housing problems in the 50s and 60s as much as we have now? The answer is no. So what caused them the problems? Here we go. Our middle class is disappearing. Our lower class is going up. The housing, we don't have a housing problem from the rich. There's not a housing problem for myself, I can afford it. So the middle class is going down, the lower class is going up. Very simple, you can't afford what housing is available. We have a lack of supply. We're 4 million houses down from with a building. Why is that? We used to have programs, government support programs, to build housing. What happened to those government support programs? If people back can remember in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we had government support, you know, to build houses, apartments, and I'm not talking just low rent areas. We're talking about affordable mortgages that they did. We end up, the cost of the average house, and I'm not just talking about building costs. Back when I first bought my first house, the average house cost 2 times the average wage. 2 times the average wage. Right now the houses are costing 10 times the average wage. We just have brought ourselves out of the market. When you end up looking at inflation, let's look at your jobs. Let's look at the price of housing and your income over the last 50 years. So I went from like 1970 to 2020. If you end up looking at the price of housing compared to your income level, 8-fold difference. Guess what? It's very similar for education and medical care. Education and medical care and housing, 3 very important issues. We're being priced out of the market. We're being priced out of the market because those 3 are increasing at a higher level. You don't hear very many people saying, I can't afford a TV. TVs are way, way down. They're cheaper. Because even TV prices, electronics, went down lower than the price of inflation. So when we also look at attitudes, not my backyard, you are not going to put single little houses in my backyard. You know, that NIMBYism, we got to go into, yes, in my backyard. We need to support smaller houses, maybe multi-duplex houses, some apartments. What else happened? Financial support, locally, state, and federal programs, they have disappeared. Same thing as education, we'll talk about that shortly. Profit and greed. And sometimes I call it greed inflation. So we can address, that's where the housing is going. So if you know what the problems are, lack of housing, affordable housing, if you know what the causes are, and I mentioned some of them, then a representative could work with you at meaning the local level and the state level and the federal level, let's work together to solve some of these issues.